Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Love Morning. I'm John, and this is a daily practice of gratitude and intention and community and reminding ourselves of who we are so we can be love ambassadors in the world, whether that is a practice of self care or a practice of outward kindness, gifting. It's a gifting practice, and that gift can be to yourself or to others. It is elevating the overall vibe of consciousness in this dimension, which can be these little tiny gestures of just saying, "Hi, good morning." There you did it. You just elevated the consciousness towards kindness and warmth and love. Ooh, give yourself extra sleep or a nap or permission to rest or whatever you need. There you go. You just elevated the consciousness by taking care of something that was weakened by overuse or stress. Ta-da! Um, Good morning, Gerbot. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, Jason. If you're here, please say hello. Share what you are grateful for. I'm grateful for a uh, a, a adulting day yesterday. I went to the dentist and had some fillings put in, um, where I've been grinding over the years. That's my main dental problem, grinding, and it's finally affected me in ways that I did not realize would affect. Like I thought, like around the gum, I thought that was a problem with like overbrushing. They're like, oh no, that's from the constant pressure of grinding, and it makes does all sorts of stuff. But I was like, oh goodness. Now I wear a night guard now, but I didn't for years. I had one for years. I just didn't wear it because I had a mentality of didn't find it that urgent. Didn't think I was going to live that long. So, like, taking care of my teeth until I'm an old man just didn't seem like that critical. I didn't have pain. I didn't get headaches or anything. So I was like, it just didn't feel urgent. And now the directions for the dentist is like, if you want to keep your teeth, you have to wear the guard. You got to. And so I've been pretty good for about 6 months. I've been really good for 6 months, I'll say. Good morning, Esta. So I went to the dentist. That was my first of 4 visits. I got to do each quadrant. And then I returned my car. CarMax, one of the reasons I bought from there when I did was that they have a 30-day no questions asked. You can return it in the condition you got it. And so I, after a couple weeks, decided this is not the perfect car for me. I like it a lot. I could live with it, but if I have the choice of returning it, I think there are things that over time I would regret, or at least I would wish that I could have. I would have made a different choice. So I'm back to my old car now. That's also an easy choice to make because I just got my car detailed by a guy starting a car detailing business, and he transformed my old car. I mean, it's like I'm like, man, I could drive this for a little bit longer. It's he spent like 8 hours on it. Is that right? Yeah, he spent like almost 8 hours, and it's a totally different car. Good morning, Juan. Good morning, Mike. Juan says, asking if I was out any money from CarMax. Nope, I got 100%. They gave me a check for exactly the amount that I wrote a check, and then they put my back on my card my extended warranty that I paid for. I got 100% back, and the only downside, it took like an hour to go through there. There's a lot of paperwork because there's things that have to be signed and DMV paperwork and all sorts of stuff. they were totally cool, but all they did is they go, okay, well, give me the keys. I'll go look and just check the mileage and make sure there's not a bumper missing. And then you just got to wait till there's somebody in the finance place that can do it. And that should take like 45 minutes, and it took like an hour. But yeah, it was pretty simple. So, so now I've got my snazzy old car to drive in the meantime. I've got another car coming to check out. I'm checking out a Lexus NX. And I've decided that I'm going to spend a little bit more and get a newer car that has more of the safety features, the collision avoidance and things like that, potentially even automated cruise control. Just figuring like if I once avoid a car accident, it would be so worth it. Yeah, so the big reasons of returning it was, one, I think it didn't have any safety features. So it's really just like a newer version of what I have now, which is a luxury SUV. So it's nicer, but it's also BMW. So I'm a little more worried about it not as dependable, more expensive repairs. I'm not like, I don't love driving. So the benefits of the BMW are kind of lost on me. I like that it feels cool. I feel cool when I'm in the car. It's fast. It actually, like, I think it makes me want to drive faster. So those are things like is that, those don't seem like wise decisions. Those seem like kind of a little juvenile choices. Now, nothing wrong with that. And I was kind of giving myself permission to that. And I still might get the BMW X4, a newer version that has the safety features in it. But other things I didn't like about the BMW was the rear view mirror is lower than I'm used to, and it's got a thick kind of bar. So it's like, I feel like looking, like I'm constantly like moving my head down to look around the rear view mirror when I'm driving. And I'm like, I don't like that way that feels. And the rear window is of this, it's this version of the BMW is a pretty small rear window, and it's a limo tint. And I don't like it. Like, I feel like the rear view window is almost worthless. Like, I have to use the side mirrors for everything. And I could totally get used to it. But since I got 30 days, no questions asked, I'm like, I don't love it. I really like it, but I don't love it. I would like to be feeling like, yes. And so I'm going to try again. And since I have it's not like I have to buy a new car because my old car works. I fixed the leaking, so it's not getting wet anymore. That was one of the incentives to get the new car. Fixed the leaking. It's now detailed and smells good and looks incredible. I mean, for a 22-year-old car. Yeah. So good morning, Chris. Gerbot is grateful for his electric toothbrush. It has revolutionized my oral hygiene. I love my electric toothbrush too. And I should say that my teeth are actually in good shape. That the dentist is like, "Do you get your teeth cleaned a lot?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Your teeth are great. It's just the grinding. Like, that's, I'm supposed to tell you need to get frequent cleanings, but your teeth look great. You just need to, wear your bite guard." Which is interesting because I do not floss. So, don't tell anyone. Victoria says, I am grateful for the long, cool, wet spring we are having. The roses are budding and a few are unfurling. Yeah, I love spring so much. In fact, when the weather's hot, I'm like, no, spring, stay with me. Don't push. No, keep it cool. I love the leaves budding, flowers furling. Good morning, Mike. Mike says, when I worked at a car dealership, we had a joke about a warranty. 30-30, meaning 30 seconds or 30 feet, whichever comes first. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I felt so comfortable, like, doing it through CarMax. I don't know how you can compete with that. Although I did test drive a car at a Porsche dealer. Although, did I tell you this already? So I went to they had a new version of the BMW. It was white, which I didn't really want, but I wanted to test these features. And um, so I pull up the dealership and meet the woman who I talked to on the phone. She goes, "Oh, okay, well, I'll pull the car around." They didn't get my driver's license. They didn't get insurance information. Didn't I mean, I guess they had my first name. Maybe they had my last name, but no ID. And they just pulled up the car, and she got in the car and said, "Do you want to take it for a drive?" So I get that because she was in the car, they weren't afraid that I was going to steal it, I guess. But who knew if I didn't have any proof that I had a driver's license? But also, like, at CarMax, they let you drive the car on your own for, 20, 30 minutes. And that to me was so much better experience than driving it with someone with her next to me, because I'm like hyper aware of being a good driver and um not doing anything to mess up the car, and I don't want to look, keep my hands at 10 and 2. So I'm not like feeling into the car and pulling over, and like I want to try some dials and things, and I felt like I had to do it under the way that drive it the way she wanted me to drive. And like she wanted me to, she took me on this course. I'm like, I want to drive in traffic. I want to try these safety features in traffic. And you're taking me on this like speed loop so I can see how fast it is. I'm like, oh. So anyway, the 30 days is a really, I mean, I might like why, like if you can swing it, like they gave me a check back. So I thought in their paperwork, they say, we'll mail you a check in 2 weeks. So I was like, well, that makes it hard to buy a second car because you got to have cash for 2 cars. That's a little tough. But so I returned this one before I knew what my next one was going to be, but they just gave me a check right there. So I could have, tomorrow I could go in, buy another car, drive it for a few weeks, and go, nah, I don't like this one. But pretty cool. Hello, Hillary. Good morning. Good morning. Gerbot confessing, I used to not floss because it was so painful for my hands. I get it. But then I got the Oral-B handle with the little disposable floss heads. Highly recommended. Yeah, I like those picks that like look like little arrows, with a little bow across it. Or when I do use them, I use that. But I probably should continue using them. Good reminder. Thank you. If anyone else says things that they're grateful for, I would love to hear it. I'm grateful that I got a good reaction from the card I made. I made a card for Lisa, and her nephew is his birthday yesterday or today. And so she gave me pictures of him and some description of some things about him. And I used AI to write him a song, make pictures, made a video, put his face in it, and made him a pretty badass birthday card to put pictures of his family in it. And this morning, both Lisa and her parents both messaged me saying how great it was. Her parents were like, "Oh my gosh, you need to," like, Lisa's mom. I don't know if you're listening. Hi, Carla. Carla was like, "Dude, this is what you should do. Yesterday you were talking about not sure you want to look for a job or something to do. You need to talk to one of these card companies and make these custom cards." Which is an interesting thought, although it did take me, it's a little, like, I think that AI will be at a point where they could make that for you pretty easily, probably in 6 months. But the way I did it took me, maybe 90 minutes, which is a little, like, I don't think people want to pay that much for a card. But maybe I could help a card company to figure out how to use the AI in the future. I don't know. It's a great idea, Carla. Thank you. Um, but my gratitude is that I felt good. It was fun to make, and I was noticing as I was making it, I'm like, I like doing this. Like, and one of the reasons I like doing it is because I thought about this because I knew there were people that were going to watch it closely. So much, so many times I make a video and I put a lot of time into it, and then I know that very few people really like it. Often it won't even be watched to the end of like a 2-minute video. Very few people watch the whole thing, and so it's like skimmed and scanned, and I'm like, ugh. It's like so even knowing that a family of people, 3, 5 people are gonna like really watch this and rewatch it, a video. It's like, okay, then this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna spend a little extra time. I'm gonna, double make this a little, spend a little, yeah. If I knew that like there were people that would be watching the things that I did, I would definitely spend more time on it. I know that sucks. It's just that not that I mean it sucks because I should be an artist and not care about the audience, but like I already know, I don't know. I guess I gotta think about this. Um Hillary says, I look the same as I did 15 years ago. Well, I think that's the webcam. I've got a white beard now and salt and pepper hair. Um, but I think the key is I don't have any kids and I try to stay playful. But I certainly noticed the differences 15 years ago. But thank you, Hillary. Hillary said, you look exactly the same as you did 15 years ago. I appreciate hearing that because I have been certainly noticing to myself that in the last 5 years, I'd say 5 years ago, if you said that, I'd be like, I know. I'm 47 and I look the same as I did when I was 40 or 35. But I definitely am oh, having to embrace the the years a little bit more lately. Right, the pink hair has gotta help too. Juan, good morning, Juan. Good to see you. Juan says, I am grateful that my mom visited me for about a month. I'm sad to see her go back to Mexico. Hmm. Uh, how nice to be able to spend that time. Oops. Good morning, Robert. Robert says, I'm a definite truck driver. My truck was in the shop. Driving a rental car with a small high window was no fun. I I've gotten used to an SUV, at least a little bit of height. So one of my requirements is I want to have a car that's a little bit higher, not truck height. Well, I don't mind. It's the truck width that is my problem. I don't want to like dealing with a parking place for a truck just seems like that would be, I would never leave the house. Uh, I still have pink hair. It's just, I didn't, I got a little bedhead today. Um, Sarah is grateful to finally be healing from dental surgery. I'm returning to my sleep schedule to be awake to join you all for gratitude practice. Grateful for my good friend with me joining you. Well, welcome both of you. Good morning. Thank you for sharing. Victoria saying, get the self park feature. That is not as common in cars. Because initially I was looking for that. And none of the cars that I was looking at had it. Maybe the 2024s do, but I wasn't going to get a new car. Robert says, I look much younger than my age. The gray and white gives it away, but I have fooled people into thinking I was 15 years younger. No smoking or alcohol helps. True. I mean, and I'm pretty lucky that the ravages of my drug use were did not affect my physical appearance very much. Um, there's I don't know if I should share this. I had a very bizarre experience this morning that I'm going to share with you because I'm grateful for it, and I'm still like trying to figure it all out. So this morning, as I was in bed in that like liminal state between consciousness and sleep, and I started to remember experiences in altered states of consciousness. If I can try to explain that, meaning like I I would have these experiences, most of them on ketamine, that were these intense, bizarre experiences that were like being a different state of human, or a different state of like one was that like almost like I'm a worm, and that my experiences are I can only like binary choices of towards away from things. It's almost like memories of being a lower animal. And it was a pretty common experience, not common, but I mean dozens of times. And but as soon as it happens, once I start to sober up, I get amnesia. I have no memory of it. And I started to remember it this morning. And then I started to remember like three, four, five other states like that, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to have that experience. And some of them were pleasant. Most of them are bizarre or a little scary. Um, oops. And but for some reason, they all like started slipping into my brain this morning. Um, and I don't know why. Like what released them from my subconscious, from my amnesiatic parts of my brain into conscious brain. I mean, something having to do with being in the state of between waking and sleeping. And some of them, I can't quite like. There's one state that it's like the feeling of. God, it's kind of a scary, like a horror feeling of like waking up and recognizing that it's like actually it's like falling backwards or falling forwards into this awareness that everything, my ego, my thoughts, my consciousness, reality is all a hoax. And it's like there's something specific about it that I can't remember. Like there's a certain moment when I go, "Oh my gosh." Like and I can't remember that, but I do remember that like and it's like, "Oh no, that means eternity is real." Like infinity, eternity, the the dark horror of that is real. Huh. Okay, so maybe that's too much information for today, but uh and again, these are not dreams. These are experiences on chemicals that I have amnesia of as soon as I start to sober up from them. But I remembered them this morning when I was awake, but kind of just in that kind of sleepy morning feeling. So strange. Um, Congratulations, Hillary, for 15 years sobriety. That is amazing. Bravo. Bravo. I just celebrated a year about a month ago. Let's see, February 15th. Mine was close to that. Was it? No, I can't remember. Congrats to us both. Gerbot asking if I do a dream journal. No. Occasionally, I will write down a dream or explain it to Lisa, but no, I should. Good morning, Esta. Esta says, I am grateful for my diverse and overlapping circles of friends. And I love that they're also open minded, devoted to personal growth, and most of all, to some kind of service. What a beautiful description of your friends. Thank you, Esta. Juan saying that my brain is going through Lisa withdrawals or Lisa hug withdrawals. That could be true. Good morning, Faith. Good morning. I definitely, Hillary's supposing that maybe I was lucid dreaming. Perhaps. I don't think so. I mean, I definitely was awake this morning and started to, because I was like, oh man, I should go write this down. Hope I remember this long enough to write it down. And then another memory would come in. Oh my gosh! And then this other state that I used to have. Oh my gosh, another one. Hey, happy birthday, Robert! All right, everybody. Thanks for all the beautiful sharing of gratitudes and dreams and all the good stuff. What a treat to get to start the day together and be reminded that we're surrounded by like-minded people. Like Esta pointed out, these beautiful friends, open-minded and seeking ways to be of service. And we are here to remind ourselves to be love ambassadors in the world. How can we make the world a little bit brighter? Whether that is self-care or outward gifting, service in some way. So I have an opportunity to do that. I'm going to do a recorded Stay Sparked episode in about 20 minutes. And who knows what else this day will entail. But I'm glad that I got to start the day with you. So wherever you are, give yourself a big ol' squeeze. Embrace this body. Have gratitude for this incredible system, for the thoughts, for the wild ride of consciousness that we're having, for the ability to share and learn from one another's wisdom and triumphs and struggles, and for the reminder that we're all having this human experience and doing the best we can. So let's take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of us, thank you for being here for this love morning. Have a beautiful day. I'm here every day at 9 o'clock and almost every day at noon in Zoom for a gratitude circle. And quite often at 6 p.m. for a gratitude circle. Hillary's saying, we were warned in the 90s that we would have flashbacks someday. Good point. Perhaps I'm having flashbacks. Wonder why now. And Gerbot saying, always grateful for the opportunity to be here. Thanks, Gerbot. I appreciate starting the day with you. What's the day? Thursday? Happy Thursday, everyone. Bye.